presentation by Bridget Harvey, our Director of Communications, and Paul Adams, our Director of Finance, on the Spectrum/Charter One franchise fee revenue that the town gets annually. So I'll hand the baton to you guys.
We thought we would do just a quick review of the revenues that are related to the cable TV franchise access fees. Essentially, we have the annual cable TV franchise fee. In the past, we've actually had some revenues from a franchise fee audit, and since the cable department is basically being wound down, we'll also have some revenues from the sale or auction of the assets. On the next slide, as you can see, the annual cable TV franchise fee. It's received annually from Charter One Communications, usually around March of each year. The amount received is based on cable subscribership in the town of Webster. Historical revenue data on this slide dates back to 1995. And as you can see, in the 2000s, cable TV really took off. So did the revenue. I think last year we did about $520,000 in revenue. It became popular in the 2000s, and believe it or not, it's still popular.
And I'll just mention before we go on to the next slide that this is unrelated to cable access television production and purely is based on subscribership, as Paul mentioned.
That is correct. So back in 2015, we actually had an audit performed by a firm called Troy & Banks. The result of the audit came in 2016, and they actually recovered $44,000. So basically, they took a look at the franchise fee agreement, compared it to what we were actually receiving, and detected any variances from the contractual arrangement. So it was a 50% contingency-based contract. And we're actually looking to do this again. So actually on tonight's board slate of board resolutions, there's a resolution to move forward with Troy & Banks. It's just been about 8 years since they've done so. I think based on what Troy & Banks is telling me, they think they would expect pretty good recovery, but you never know until you take a look. So it is a 50% contingent fee contract. They don't find anything, they don't pay anything. And they have had successful audits performed in some other jurisdictions, such as Salina, Irondequoit, and the city of Buffalo.
And as Paul mentioned earlier, with the wind down of cable access, the assets that are not in use or that have reached the end of their useful life from this room in here, or the Spectrum building or cable studio over on Picture Parkway will be assessed by experts from our IT department as well as AV consultant, the AV consultant who we have partnered with to do quite a few things over the past year. So these assets include video equipment, microphones, furniture, etc. So what's next for us is nothing in terms of the annual franchise fee. As we mentioned, no action is needed for the receipt of that. As Paul mentioned, town board will consider a resolution to conduct a cable TV franchise audit with Troy & Banks. And then what's next is the assessment of those assets of the equipment that is being stored and has come out of the Spectrum building over on Picture Parkway, as well as the equipment in this room that has reached the end of its useful life for the town, or it's just no longer in use by us. So that's all. Are there any questions?
Where will this be? Where will it be sold? Is there a certain auction, or how is it sold? They need to talk into the microphone. How's it sold?
So I think that would be something that we discuss with likely Dan Agnew, who we've contracted with for AV services. who is more attuned to the AV, where something reliable would be in terms of auction or sale, and what the best way to get any return on that would be.
Understand. Also, the last audit in 2015 was a 44,000 recovery. Was it 50% back then as well, so they found $88,000 and we got 44?
No, I believe they found 44 and we had to pay 22.
Oh, okay, I got it. Got it.
I think it also has a residual effect. If they find an issue with the contract, correctly going forward. So theoretically, your revenue should be higher each year going forward.
Well, I think it's a great opportunity. I mean, if there's no cash outlay to find money, I think it's a great opportunity. I'll be curious to see what happens because in my opinion, as of late, it seems that cable is going down in lieu of streaming services, so it'll be interesting how much and if anything is found.
Yeah, certainly subscribership is trending down, but I think the prices that were raised, the amount we received has actually stayed pretty steady, which is shocking. I mean, at some point, it's got to come down.
I don't want to disparage cable TV, Spectrum, Charter One, Time Warner, their predecessor. But I think in masters and business classes, they call it the death spiral. Has anybody ever heard of that?
Of course,
I got some people shaking their head in the crowd. What is happening in a lot of ways is that the Spectrum subscribers in Webster were around 10,500 back in the 2015-2018 range. In the fourth quarter, I think of 23, a year ago they were around 7,700 subscribers. And that's what you mean by the streaming services and all that. It's not because the population is going down. People are going probably in the streaming services and leaving the cable TV. But our revenue from the franchise agreement that was signed, who knows how many years ago, is 5% of the cable fee. Not 5% if you have Spectrum phone, not 5% if you have Spectrum internet connection. If you have cable TV through Spectrum, and anybody who has it, go and look at your monthly bill, you'll find on there the 5% fee. It's only tied to the cable TV portion. Well, subscribership has dropped 30%, but as many people know in the world, the cable TV fees have gone up significantly. So it's created a flat revenue for us, which is nice. I mean, we picked up $550,000 a year, but you just wonder, unless there's a resurgence of cable TV subscribers in years to come, I think the town board and our budget process has to get prepared for that number dwindling. One other thing I'll say about the assets that you had asked about, Jennifer, is that the cable building, cable studio you called it, Bridget, over on Picture Parkway, about 2,000 square feet that for, I think, 30 plus years the town occupied, really at the pleasure of Charter One, Time Warner. We have emptied that whole 2,000 square feet out. In past board meetings, we have done resolutions to send things to disposal or recycle or whatever. So we've been picking away at this. I think a lot of the stuff that we're not sure whether we're going to sell, donate, repurchase to other town departments is in the 3,000 square foot room that is behind the clock right there. So as Bridget said, we're trying to parse through that to make sure we know exactly what we got and what we could do with it, either from one of the other government departments or if it's best to sell it or what. So hopefully that gives some color to this.
Sounds good.
John or Jenny?
I have no questions. great presentation, thank you.